What if I told you there's a way to map out a clear path from all that financial stress to, well, actual freedom? And that it could all happen in just 5 years? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. Now, this is not some get-rich-quick scheme, okay? It's a real blueprint for making smart, deliberate choices that can absolutely change your life.
So let's just start with a tough question, the one that probably keeps a lot of us up at night. If your salary stopped coming in tomorrow, what's the plan? Seriously, how would you pay the rent? What about those EMIs? If you're pausing to think about it, then you're in exactly the right place. The real problem usually isn't how much you earn. It's the fact that you don't have a financial roadmap.
To really see the difference a plan makes, just imagine two friends. Same job, same 35,000 rupee salary, same background. So our first friend, let's call him the spender, he really lives for today. The salary hits his account, the bills get paid, and the rest is just gone by the end of the month. The planner, on the other hand, she also enjoys life, but she lives by one simple rule: pay your future self first.
So what's the deciding factor? Who's going to be in a better spot 5 years from now? Well, it has nothing to do with who's smarter or who works harder. The only difference, the only one, is that one of them has a plan and the other is just reacting. They're just winging it.
And look, this story of two friends, it's not just some story. It reflects a pretty shocking reality. Just look at these numbers. A staggering 7 out of 10 people live paycheck to paycheck. 65% don't even have enough savings to cover 3 months of emergencies. And it all leads to this: 90% of people end up financially dependent on someone else when they retire. This is what happens when you live without a plan, and that is the cycle we are here to break today.
Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, it's not with some confusing investment app or trying to pick stocks. No. The very first, and honestly the most powerful step, is to simply face the numbers. You have to know exactly where every single rupee is going.
And the process is so simple, just like you see here. For just 1 month, 30 days, track everything you spend money on. And I mean everything. You don't need a fancy app. Your phone's Notes app is perfect for this. Then you just categorize everything. This is how you find those hidden leaks in your financial ship.
So these are the 3 boxes. Your needs, that's the non-negotiable stuff. Your wants, those are nice to have. But this third box, wealth killers, this is the one that changes the game. This is where you find the high-interest debt, the random impulse buys, the subscriptions you forgot you were even paying for. This is the financial leak we're talking about.
It really all boils down to this: you can't control what you don't track. This first step isn't about punishing yourself or cutting out all the fun. It's about empowerment. It's about you taking back control of your own money.
Okay, so now that you've found the leaks, what's next? Well, the next step is to build a shield. Because let me tell you, true financial security isn't about how much you make. It's about how well you can take a hit, an unexpected crisis, without your whole world falling apart. And here is your first clear, simple target. You need a fund in a completely separate savings account that can cover at least 6 months of your essential expenses. This isn't for a shopping sale or a vacation. This is for when you lose your job or there's a medical issue. This fund gives you breathing room. It gives you the power to make good decisions, not desperate ones.
Now, the other part of your shield is insurance. And let's be crystal clear about this. Insurance is not an investment. It is not a way to make money. Its one and only job is to stop a catastrophe from sending you all the way back to square one.
And these are the 2 absolute non-negotiables. They are the foundation of your financial house. Health insurance, because one single serious hospital bill can completely destroy years of your savings. And term life insurance, if you have people who depend on you, to make sure their lives can continue if yours suddenly stops. I know this step isn't exciting, but it is absolutely essential.
Okay, our foundation is strong. Our shield is up. Now it's time to move from defense to offense. Now we actually start building wealth, and the most powerful tool we have for this is consistency.
Forget about trying to time the market. It's a fool's game. The key is time in the market. And a systematic investment plan, or an SIP, does this for you automatically. You invest a fixed amount every single month, no matter what. When the market is down, your money buys more. When it's up, it buys a little less. You're replacing emotion with a system.
So just how powerful can this be? Well, let's use a really cool mental trick called the rule of 72. All you do is divide the number 72 by your expected interest rate, and that's roughly how many years it'll take for your money to double. So, at a 12% return, your money doubles in just 6 years. That is the magic of compounding.
And this chart right here shows you exactly what that looks like. A steady, consistent monthly investment, like the 8,000 rupees here. It starts off small,
but it just explodes over time. You can see the huge difference between 5, 10, and 15 years. The goal isn't to get rich overnight. It's to build the habit, a consistent habit, and then just let the process work its magic.
But here's an important truth, okay? Investing alone can be a pretty slow path. The real accelerator, the fuel for your investment fire, is increasing your income. Relying on a single paycheck these days is like trying to stand on one leg. It's just not stable.
And the amazing thing is, it has never been more possible to learn a valuable new skill. It doesn't matter if it's learning to write well, edit videos, master new AI tools, or even consultant in the field you already know. You can start building a new stream of income that has nothing to do with your 9-to-5 job.
And this leads to such a powerful shift in your thinking. You stop thinking only about earning money and you start thinking about creating value. The more problems you can solve for other people with your skills, the more your own financial problems just seem to disappear. And this right here perfectly illustrates the new reality. Job security is a myth. A company can let you go tomorrow. But skill security, that is real. A valuable skill that solves a real problem for someone, that's an asset you own, and you own it forever.
So, after 5 years of following this exact plan, where do we end up? What's the real goal of all this work and discipline? I'll tell you what it's not. It's not about a fancy car or a bigger house. The real prize is something you simply can't buy.
5 years later, our spender is still trapped. He's stressed about EMIs, completely dependent on a job he might not even like anymore. But the planner? She has a solid emergency fund. She has more than one source of income. And most importantly, she has the freedom of choice. The choice to leave a toxic job, to take a break for our health, to spend more time with family, all without being terrified.
Look, this journey, it definitely requires discipline. It means saying no to some things you want today so you can say yes to what truly matters tomorrow. But as this quote reminds us, that short-term pain of discipline is always, always cheaper than the long-term pain of regret.
And that just brings us to the final question, really. 5 years from today, do you want to be living a life that's dictated by your financial compulsions or one that's driven by your own conscious choices? The path you take starts with the very small decisions you make today. The choice is yours.